Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so I'm going to the local Target today. Woke up late, man. Woke up like 10:15. Definitely latest I've woke up in probably a long time, but I don't know what that was about. It's been sleeping more, but feel good, did everything I normally do. Now I'm gonna take myself over to get to this Target, grab a few things of fruit, specifically fruit. Don't really need much of anything else, which is why I'm not going to Trader Joe's for rice or anything like that. I got plenty of that. So it's hot, man. It is not a minor bit of heat right now in North Hollywood. I didn't check to see exactly how hot it is, but it feels like it's about 94, something like that, 95. And since it's later, the heat settles in even more at this hour than it usually does when I usually get out of here. If anything, it feels like this when I'm coming back. So yeah, man, that's really what it is, man. Just happy to get some fresh air, though. I will tell you that I was a little cooped up in that room today, but I decided to watch the gold medal game. Of course, I'm not really covering the Olympics at all, but I enjoyed the hell out of that gold medal game. Steph Curry put on a hell of a show to capture gold against Wembanyama and the France team. I saw one of the French players put a Palestinian flag around his back. I thought that was pretty strong of a show, especially given everything that's going on in the real world, where a lot of people don't want to act like they see it. But as you know, we're not a part of that, and we talk about it every day. You know, last night was a hard night for Palestinian people, man. They lost close to 200 people. I don't know exactly what the final number was. Last I checked, it was like 150. Probably rised up even higher than that. But they bombed a school where a bunch of people were displaced. You know, at this point, people just got to sleep where they can find space to do so, and they were huddled up in the school, and they just dropped bombs on them early in the wee hours of the morning at prayer time. And of course, it's not enough to do what they're doing. They got to do it in a way that belittles their sensibility as human beings. It's not enough to terrorize them. You got to target them while they're praying, you know, that kind of thing. Try to demoralize these people, which is why I don't know why people are convincing themselves, whoever it is, that Israel is the good guys, or that Israel is the side that has ultimately been wronged, when everything that they do not only is aggressive in nature, but degrading in nature when they do it. And at this point, they're showing their society to be as they are, with the poll that's out there and the different, you know, groups that we see representing themselves, the way that they backing this person that, you know, sodomize those people and all of that in the prison. I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, if you're gonna take their word for things, you gotta question who you are at this point, because they're showing themselves who they are, and they don't think like us. I mean, the way we were raised to believe humanity's supposed to go and how we're supposed to treat people, that's not how they operate at all. They're proving themselves. So, you know what I mean, that I would ever side with them on anything means I'm ignoring what it is that they're showing me. Can't do it. So that's really where I stand on something like that. I don't pretend not to see, because it does not benefit me at all to do that. I don't think it benefits the people who think they benefit from doing so, but that's their business. I just ain't gonna stand for that nonsense, man. I've seen too much trauma, and last night some of the worst of it. You know what I mean? I had a conversation with you guys yesterday for about an hour, and that was before the 100 people were bombed. You know what I mean? It's like, I've seen it all at this point in regards to the different tactics that have been used to try to demoralize and destroy these people. I've seen so many different tactics. Tell them to go here because it's going to be safe, and then bomb them on the way there, and then bomb the place when they get there. I mean, it's just like, and they turn around and look up and say, you know, how are they getting what they're getting to use on these people? What bombs were used last night or this morning, their time, to kill these praying people? And then you look up and realize that the Biden-Harris administration just gave them another couple $1 billion worth of bombs. They used the bombs that they gave them to do what they did last night. And that's not the first time we've seen that. That's like the 9th or 10th time we've seen that. Every time America gives them bombs, it's not like they're stashing them. They're using them on the people that they're intending to kill, which happen to be Palestinian children. They're targeting children, and people who don't want to zero in on that part. No, that's actually happening. they are targeting kids. That's who they want to kill. They don't want to kill just grown-ups. They're not interested in particularly doing anything but taking out the children so that the next generation of freedom fighters will never become. The next generation of life givers will never be. And that's really what Israel's intention is right now. Whether we talk about the realities of others who are also being targeted, grown men and women and elderly. But the importance for Israel is to break their hearts, break their spirit, and destroy the generation of those that are coming, who will be even more fearless than those who are alive today. So, that's really what it's about. They're trying to eradicate these people. This is ethnic cleansing, this is genocide, and this is terrorism. That's what it is. It's not something that you should be siding with the people who are doing this in regards to. And if you're paying attention to that, what it is that I've been paying attention to, then you understand that this is not a political conversation. This is not about politics or who is in position to kind of take something away from you politically or structurally. No. This is some Freddy Krueger stuff that these people are engaging in. And politically, if you're aligned with them as they do it, or too afraid to speak out for whatever set of reasons, then you are, in fact, a coward who's allowing children to be terrorized by monsters. That's literally it. In the name of whatever you're doing. And a lot of people can stand behind the fact that, well, we've been trained to believe this way. I saw something that was written. It said that they've killed off all the freedom fighters and the labor fighters, people who would otherwise show us how to stand up for ourselves. So based on the propaganda, we're walking around as zombies. I will not accept that. I've had too many one-on-one conversations with real people in the world around me to actually run with the fact that we're too stupid to stand up for something. We are not. We're not too stupid. We're not too brainwashed. The brainwashing was not as effective as it would need to be for us to sit back and watch children be blown sky high and be cool with it because we want to watch the NFL. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. That's not the majority of the people here. So whatever's keeping these people silent, or whatever's keeping people from standing up, it's a glitch in the matrix, if you ask me. There's something very wrong there. So that's really what I'm here to say, man. And I want people to understand that I don't think that way. I don't operate that way. I don't walk in fear in that regard. There's nothing cute about aligning with people who want to terrorize people and belittle them and leave them feeling like it's hopeless as they destroy them. Like, I feel like there's a certain level of humanity that and dignity that needs to be given to just about anybody. You know what I mean? Even the worst of the worst. I don't do certain things because it makes me worse in doing so. You know what I mean? Regardless of what they deserve, I'm not going to stoop to that level because that shows the example that that's what should be done. And I don't believe it is. That's how we've operated in this country. We've abolished certain ways of doing things. You may have lethal injection in your state, but you're not allowing people to electrocute people anymore, or maybe you're not using firing squads anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not hanging people at the gallows or pushing them off roofs 5,000 feet in the air. Like, there's certain things that you just won't do, even the people who deserve to die in this country. And in regards to Israel, they don't have that moral compass. They believe that anybody that harms them deserves to have ridiculously inhumane things done to them. Cruel and unusual punishment is something that they take pride in providing to their enemies. And if we're aligning with people with that moral compass, then we betray our own. And for whatever reason, we're in a space in society where those who are supposed to be responsible for upholding our dignity as a country, they betray that for a country that doesn't have the same moral compass as us. We've been raised within this structure to believe that there are certain things that we just shouldn't do, regardless if people deserve it or not. And Israel is in a space where they're like, look, we don't care if they've been proven to have done these things or not. If we think they're about to do these things, there's no limitation to what it is we'll do to them. And if we have any desires to do worse than what is being done to us, that's within our right. It's like that's a moral compass that is completely backwards to what it is that America has really been about on its surface. Now, if you dig a little deeper, you know that they pick and choose who they want to extend that love to. When it comes to Native Americans, they didn't care nothing about them. When it came to slaves and black people, they didn't care nothing about us. They made black skin shoes and, sodomized us and created weird contraptions to torture us. And that's the kind of engagement that the Palestinian people are being faced with this go round. They're facing some of the things that slavery had going on, you know what I mean? Minus the continuous work for no damn reason for 500 years, but just in the course of these 75 years, some of the weird stuff that they did to us, to my people, and to the native people, they're doing to the Palestinians. And I'll tell you the truth, if they can eradicate all of them in a barrel of terror, so to speak, they will. You know what I mean? This ain't gonna last 500 years because they're gonna wipe them all the way out. And so my thing is, man, if you're cool with that, or if you're cool with the people who are cool with that, I hope you're wired for it. I hope there's a sickness in you that makes it so that you appreciate that type of violence, so that will make any kind of sense at all when you lay down your head at night. Because if you call yourself a provider or a father or a person who protects people or first responder or any type of moral entity, you betray all of that just by being silent in regards to what Israel is doing. And that you take $1 from a demon it's not blessed money, you know what I mean? If you're a believer in that you shouldn't be taking on any types of inhumane money, if you're the type of person that truly stands on the compass of what is right and wrong, and then you look at Israel and allow for yourself to be silent by the payments that they provide you through their lobbying companies or lobbying forces, AIPAC and what have you, then you're no different than anybody else that benefits from the wrongdoings that are done in this world. A lot of people will point a finger, and righteously so, at the Lockheed Martins and some of these other conglomerates that solely profit off of war, but then will turn around and be willing to vote for someone who's taking $5 million from AIPAC. Or will go to their nearest Starbucks knowing that Starbucks is sending a good majority of its profits to Israel for the same reason. It's like if you can't see the hypocrisy in your own behavior, or that you betray what it is you believe in within what it is that you are comfortable doing, your confusion is not going to be lost amongst those who are paying attention to you. And those who will document who all was complicit in this, they still will align you with the Lockheed Martins, each and every one of you private citizens that continue to pay into the wealth of a terrorist organization like Israel. So allow me to be the one to tell you, just because you won't swing and punch somebody with your left hand does not mean that we're not paying attention to what you're doing with your right. Just because you refuse to shoot at somebody doesn't mean that when you swing your sword and you stab somebody, we ain't looking at you as a murderer. You're still killing. It's your choice of doing so, however it works. It allows you to sleep at night, but it doesn't mean that your hypocrisy is not being documented. And you care about some people, but you don't care about others. You hate seeing puppies slaughtered, but you don't have any problem seeing Palestinian children slaughtered. There's something wrong with who you are. You're not good enough as a human being to see where you've gone wrong. But believe me, those who are paying attention to the wrongdoings themselves lump you in there with those who are fine with the killing of puppies. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You haven't effectively separated yourself from that for which you think isn't humane or wrong, because you're still willing to do wrong in areas that you've deciphered are acceptable. But the reality is it's still accounted for. It's wrongdoing. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. It's like, it's not okay to just look at what's going on to those people and say, well, it's not happening to us, and I have a heart for mine and I have a heart for us, but not a heart for them. Because at the end of the day, those who are looking at this from a wide scope. Just see your complicit nature in what it is that's happening to them. And they're going to lump you with anybody else that did anything cruel in this world. It ain't no different. You just allowed yourself to believe you're different based on the hypocrisy you're willing to stand in. That hypocrisy still is in balance. What you're accounting for is still what it is. So that's pretty much where I'm coming from with this, man. I don't doubt that many people have been rocked to sleep by what it is that they are comfortable with and what it is that people around them are comfortable with. And the fact that they feel like it's useless moving, so therefore I'm not going to move in no direction that seems useless. All these different things that people tell themselves to stay complicit with bad stuff going on. But at the end of the day, your complicity is just as complicit as anyone else who's complicit. So if you're going to look at somebody else within the confines of your country and say, yo, he's complicit to murder because he allowed such and such to happen, or he drove in the car so he's complicit to the murder or whatever, you're no different when you're paying into these companies that are engaging in genocide. You're no different. You may tell yourself you're different for whatever set of reasons, but it's still the same thing. Complicit to the ending of lives. So if you're mad at a gang member for engaging in whatever street politics that lead to violence, and then you pay into something that's also leading to violence, guess what you're doing? Same thing you say the gang members do. No different. It's just that you allow yourself to believe it's different because within where it is you're at, people are cool with what it is you're doing and not cool with what it is they're doing. But guess what? You're them. History will tell the story of who you really were. And that's what I want people to understand. History is telling the story of us, not our complicit nature in the engagement of what is normal, but the reaction to the indifference that we engaged in when suffering was taking place and we did nothing. That's what they're going to see. They're going to see the results of your complicit nature, and then those who were engaged in what it is you were fine with. They're not going to sit up and say, well, because they were cool with this, it's fine. No, they're going to say these are the results of what happened. You did nothing. You had a choice to either align with what it was that was right, or you decide to align with what it is that would otherwise allow bad to happen. You were accompanying the bad that took place. And so that's my point of view. That's my teaching for the day for the most part. I feel like I have to teach this, even though it seems like common sense to me. Common sense isn't very common in this world, man. When people are distracted by whatever it is they're used to, whatever's for them, what's custom for them, they don't understand how the history books are going to look back at them and see them the same way that they look at the world who was fine with slavery, fine with, all these different types of things that happen in our country to help put us in a position to be as strong as we are. A lot of that stuff was terrible stuff, man. And the people who were alive those days, who were fine with that, were looked at as terrible people. And if you think the state lines and the country lines and seas are going to keep people from looking at you the same way over history, they're not. The separation in water is not going to save you from the responsibility you had to do something better. They're not going to say, well, it didn't happen in their country, so they shouldn't care. No, they're going to look up and say the world was small then, it's even smaller now, and these people didn't care about what was going on over there. They were selfish in nature and they didn't care. That's what they're going to say. And a lot of us are looking at history like it's going to be told the same way as it's been told in the past, but we have cameras in our face at all times. This is going to be an entirely different way of telling stories later on. They're going to know exactly who was complicit with what. They're going to know exactly who was fine with what. Because you're documenting everything right now, just like I'm documenting this on this camera. So it's not going to be the winners tell the story. It's those who were watching with their cameras that told the story. The evidence is there. We don't have to be in a hearsay space like we do with other things. Like, well, they did do this. Well, maybe they didn't. No, it was footage. It's documented in the cloud. Everyone saw what you were fine with. Everyone had a paper trail on everything you bought. It was all in the cloud. We know who paid into what and where the dollar went. That's what people don't understand. Their grandkids are going to know exactly how much money they paid into what ultimately became whatever bad doing, wrong doing. The trail is there. Technology is going to snitch on you. That's what people need to understand. They're going to be able to trace back exactly who did what, down to the coin. So if you paid into that company and that company went off and did that thing, guess what? You were complicit. You may have known it, you may have not. But the idea that they're going to be able to pinpoint you to that action, it's not going to be very difficult in the future. And so that's why people need to start really considering where they stand and not thinking that the math that they engage in regards to hypocrisy is going to stand. It's not going to stand, friends. It's not going to stand when everybody has a camera in their hand. It's not going to stand when everything's documented technologically. They can trace your dollar back to that instance. They can trace your movements back to that situation. They can trace your post back to your complicit nature to whatever took place. So if you ever said you didn't care about anything, they're going to know when you said it, that you said it, where you were at when you said it. That's why I tell people, man, we got to really be careful what it is we're fine with and thinking it's not going to come and bite us in the backside. That's why I never was comfortable with tweeting. Even when Twitter first got started, I was like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. You telling me I can't edit nor delete what I said? And even if I do, it's still going to be a trail of what was said. 20 years from now, I may not want to have said that. Maybe I've grown out of saying that. Why would I want that to be in the cloud forever? Why would I not be able to edit that? What if I didn't mean what I said? Now I can't edit it? It never made any sense to me. And what I'm telling y'all is we're in a space where that's magnified many times over, and it's only going to be more magnified as technology continues to grow. So if you're going to be fine with things like genocide, and people are going to tell you, hey, this is what's happening, we're showing you, and you're showing us you don't care. And people are talking about the tax dollars that you're paying are going over there to buy these bombs to hurt these people. Do understand that they're going to be able to trace back every single coin. It's not a zoom out kind of thing like we look back and say, well, the ships landed there. We don't know exactly who was on the ship, but we know they landed there. No, they're going to be able to tell you who's everybody on the ship. They're going to be able to tell you what they bought before they got on the ship, what they purchased after they got off the ship. Like, we're in different times in regards to that type of stuff. And it's going to have a direct reaction to how people treat people who hold your name, your ancestors, your descendants rather. They're going to know that your family was doing this, and this. And it's not going to be a wonder if. No, they know. They're going to know, because that trail is being left behind right now in real time. So I'm telling you, stand on the right side of history, whether it's convenient for you or not, so that you can leave a trail for your name that you can stand on and that your kids and grandkids can stand on. So when the world changes and power is shifted, however it's going to shift, people will look back on you with grace, knowing that you extended grace to others. It ain't going to pay to have been indifferent or ruthless and all of those things. Because those you are standing behind who can back you in regards to that may not be in power tomorrow. But your name is still going to last within your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and so on. And they're going to look at your family and say, y'all did this, and who knows how they're going to treat your family in that situation because of your complicity in 2024. Who knows if those so-and-so who are going to be getting back at them for doing that are not going to look at you and say, let's get them too, because they had everything to do with it. And we can prove it to ourselves as we move. Like, this is stuff you don't want the future that I'm painting out for you to happen to your family. You don't want that. You don't want that for your name. You don't want that in your old age, in your last days on this earth. You do not want to be going through what the Palestinian people are going through, being displaced as elderly people. No one should go through that. And the future holds a very bleak outlook for those who are standing with Israel in regards to this. It's a bleak outlook. It don't look good for you. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. I know I'm in a space where this is not a popular thing to say. People look at you like you're a little gone for saying stuff like this. But just like anybody else whose words age well, they're gonna look back on what I'm saying and say, yeah, he had a point. Yeah, he was on to something. He kind of foresaw what was coming there. Maybe we should have gave him an ear or two. Maybe we should at least say, yeah, he might have made some sense. Because I did. I literally did, man. How they look at slave owners and those who were fine with slavery in the 17 and 1800s is exactly how they're going to look at us for being complicit to genocide. They're not going to separate us by people who couldn't do anything different because we didn't have the power to. They're not going to say, well, it was just how they did things at the time, so we'll give them a pass. They're going to look at us as a bunch of bad folks who let it happen. And the images of what it is that took place are going to be in everyone's faces just like they are right now, in the cloud, in the future. Take this into account as you take your stances against what you know is suffering in regards to people. Take this into account when you separate yourself from what is right. Because at the end of the day, they're going to know exactly who you are. In ways that they didn't know those from the past, man. In ways that they didn't know those people. I'm trying to help, man. DDL44, I thank you all for watching. Out.